Well, what's up again guys, Brian here at 3TR, and I have to say I'm quite excited about this video because 2017 was a great year for gaming, but now it's time to move forward into 2018, and I felt like sharing the top 10 most anticipated games that I'm looking forward to playing in 2018. And before I begin, I would just like to let you guys know that this list is just my list, so don't be upset if there's a specific game that you're looking forward to that isn't on my list. But starting off real simple with the first game on the list, I'm going with Shadow of the Colossus. Now, the reason why it's number 10 on the list is because I don't really need to be so much anticipating it because A, I've already played this on the two previous systems. They're just updating the graphics, but that's no reason to not be pumped up for this game. Shadow of the Colossus is by far one of the all-time greatest PlayStation 2 classic games. So just to see it updated in terms of graphics is always a good thing. It's one of those games that it never gets old no matter how long ago it originally came out. It's timeless in my opinion. Number 9 on my list is Attack on Titan 2. Now, I had a blast with the first Attack on Titan game. So now that the newest season has been out for some time, they just want to continue the gameplay style. Maybe they'll add a few things and have continue into the next season. So as long as they're consistent, maybe they add in a few little elements, maybe throw in a little multiplayer to allow me to play with my friends and take down Titans. I think that would be pretty cool. Curious to see what new elements or new gameplay elements they will add. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure Attack on Titan 2 will be a safe bet. Number 8 on my list is Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. This is number 8 on my list simply because it's been a while since I've played a good, like, simulator flight game. As far as I'm concerned, I've only played one Ace Combat and I had a blast with it. So to have a chance to kind of go back to this franchise and play another flight simulator, I think will be a pretty good thing. And from what I've seen from it, just from trailers and screenshots, I think visually on the PlayStation 4, it's going to look absolutely incredible. So that's why it's number 8 on my list. Number 7 on my list is Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, this game has been in development hell for God knows how long. I mean, I would even go so far as to say that its development process almost rivals that of Final Fantasy 15. And I think that game came out pretty well. It did do its job in terms of bringing the franchise back on track. I'm just a little bit cautious about Kingdom Hearts 3. I've liked everything I've seen from the game. The question is will Kingdom Hearts 3 actually live up to the hype? Will it bring an end to the current story that we know? Will it bring us new worlds? What elements are they going to add? I'm really, really curious because at this point, my biggest issue with Kingdom Hearts is that the story has been just so all over the place that it's made it very, very difficult for me to enjoy because I'm simply having a hard time following. So hopefully the gameplay is solid. Hopefully we'll have some brand new characters to play with. I'm sure hoping that the story is a lot more simpler to follow despite all the convoluted stuff that has happened over the franchise. And if it manages to bring the franchise back on track, especially since it's been so long since we've actually had a chronological game actually come out, then I think that would be a good sign that Square Enix didn't know what they were doing. It just took them a long time in order to get this game out, and it'll be well worth the wait. And that's if it comes out this year. That's a big what if. Number 6 on my list is Dissidia Final Fantasy. Now, I actually do like the Dissidia games on the PSP. I don't know why they wouldn't, try to bring them up to the consoles, which technically that's what this is. There's a couple elements about it I'm a little bit cautious about. I did happen to play the demo. I did have fun with that, and I do know that there's an arcade of this in Japan. But just the concept of doing a 3-on-3 from Final Fantasy characters is just an awesome idea. It was awesome in my opinion. And this would actually do wonders for my Versus series because then I could actually have visual fights that would be cool to watch. So yeah, I'm really pumped up to play this at the end of the month. Next on my list is, for number 5, is Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man is by far my favorite solo Marvel hero. And I think like the last number of Spider-Man games have been really, really good. So now the fact that Sony is making this an exclusive for the PlayStation, which, I can't complain about that. And from what I saw of it at PlayStation Experience, I wasn't allowed to, obviously we couldn't play it, but just from what I've seen of it, it looks visually impressive. I think it's going to have some great combat. Hopefully it gets the character right from but from what I've seen, they will be able to pull that off. So yeah, since as far as I'm concerned, we aren't going to get any more Batman Arkham games. We might, but I would say that Spider-Man has been kind of the closest in terms of quality, in terms of superhero games, that Marvel has had in some time. So I'm pumped up for that. Number 4 on my list is Detroit Become Human. Now, I'm a big fan of Quadro Games' style of gameplay. A lot of people aren't, but I really liked Heavy Rain, and I also really liked Beyond Two Souls. So the fact that we're kind of going back to that style, but we're going with the concept of what it is like to actually be human, and you're playing as multiple androids, and there's just several different paths, so many different things you could play out. I mean, just the possibilities are almost endless. That type of storytelling, to have a story-driven game like this in this type of setting, is just, the skies are the limit. This is definitely going to be one of the games I'm considering on doing a Let's Play for, because just the endless possibilities. I absolutely am a big fan of story-driven games. This is one of them. It's a PlayStation exclusive, which makes me even more pumped up for it. So that's why it's number 4 on my list. Going on to number 3 is God of War. And before I get into my thoughts on it, my only issue with it is, why not they call it something else? I mean, why not just call it God of War 4 or a God of War subtitle? I mean, just by calling it God of War, it might confuse some people, because when you say, hey, I want to play God of War, are you talking about the new game coming out? Or are you talking about the old 2005 game? I just wish they would clear that out. But other than that, I think this game looks incredible. I like the new direction that they're going. I like how it's taking Kratos and it's putting in like a Norse mythology-like setting. I'm really curious to see how the game mechanics of playing with Kratos' kid is going to work. I'm curious to see how much the character has changed since the old Greek mythology times. And I just want to see what they're going to do with this character, and how we're going to see him progress as a character, because we've never actually seen him in this kind of position. I mean, he's been a father before, and you know, that didn't end up well. But to see him in this setting after everything he's done in the Greek mythology times, I'm just really curious to see what they're going to do pushing the character forward. And maybe this might be a send-off to the character. Maybe this will be a chance for us to kind of send Kratos off and give us another new protagonist that we can follow moving forward for the God of War games. Who knows? But I'm pumped up to see what they're going to do. Number 2 on my list is Days Gone. Now, for someone who personally is not a big fan of like The Walking Dead, this looks like the closest thing to a Walking Dead game, to a proper Walking Dead game that's not point and click and, you know, all these really just ridiculous questions and multiple different paths. I just think the setting looks incredible. I think that how much creativity in terms of your approaches is great. From what I saw, the performances is great. It's definitely story driven. Don't know if there's going to be multiplayer, but the fact that it is, again, a PlayStation exclusive title makes me even more pumped up for it. And just from what I saw of it in PlayStation Experience, although I was disappointed I couldn't play a demo of it, it's one of those games that I have a feeling there's something really, really special. This might be the beginning of a new franchise. I mean, by far, Horizon Zero Dawn was a new IP that had its own unique ideas, and ended up being my favorite game of 2017. So I just have that feeling that this has that potential to be the best game I played in 2018. It has the potential to do that, and hopefully it might end up being. So that's why it's number 2 on my list. And that goes into number 1. Number 1 is a game I'm so pumped up for, that when I played the original, I literally cried in the first 2 hours of the game because of how much I loved it. Not because anything sad had happened, but because for me, it brought a genre of games back that for some time had been dead. And that is Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. I absolutely loved Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. It brought JRPGs back. So when I saw that they were doing a sequel, I was sold. I wanted to get my hands on it. I wanted to play it. Everything I have seen from the game is simply magical. The story looks incredible. The visuals, I love the visual style. It doesn't need to be photorealistic like some of these modern games like to be. The music is incredible. The music is a big factor of JRPGs. And just everything about it just screams epic. Epic, 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 with a magical story, a great cast of characters, and hopefully probably bring me one of the, if not one of the best JRPG experiences probably since the first Ni no Kuni. And that is why it is my #1 most anticipated game of 2018. But now that my list is done, I'd like to know, what are the most anticipated games that you guys are looking forward to playing in 2018? Please share your list with me and everyone else in the comments down below. And if you like this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check out my future videos. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.